done with you, I am going to kill everyone else.
Big ass beatdown coming up!
Welcome to Prime Video Finale Breakdown, where I will explain everything you need to know about the Invincible Season 3 finale. All 3 seasons of Invincible are now streaming on Prime Video. Before we dive into the finale, here's a quick recap of Season 3. This season pushed Mark Grayson to his limits, battling advanced threats while falling out with Cecil over GDA methods and struggling to balance his growing feelings and relationship with Eve and his superhero responsibilities. Debbie faced the challenge of raising another superpower child in Oliver, whose Viltrumite traits developed rapidly, all while navigating her new relationship with Paul. Adam Eve continued her journey of self-discovery, questioning her power's limits while growing closer to Mark, where Explode transformed from self-centered to selfless, making the ultimate sacrifice. Cecil's morally ambiguous decisions revealed the weight of Earth's protection on his shoulders. Meanwhile, Alan the Alien, Omni-Man's prison escape raised universal stakes, and Monster Girl and Rudy deepened their unique bond. The Viltrum Empire's threat intensified throughout it all, bringing familiar faces and new characters into the fold. Now, let's dive into our recap of Season 3, I Thought You'd Never Shut Up. Episode 8 opens with Conquest and Invincible squaring off on a devastated city block. Unlike other Viltrumites who claim to spread the greatness of the Viltrum Empire, Conquest immediately clarifies that he's simply a warmongering soldier who relishes in violence and bloodshed. The introduction of Conquest represents a significant evolution in the series' antagonists. While Omni-Man had complex motivations rooted in duty and cultural identity, Conquest embodies pure, unrestrained violence. Mark engages in a brutal exchange of blows that send them crashing through multiple buildings. The fight across the city is broadcast on television, and Oliver watches with mounting concern alongside Debbie and Paul. Despite Debbie's desperate pleas, Oliver rushes out to help his brother, feeling a responsibility to use his developing powers. This moment showcases Oliver's growth throughout the season, from a curious half-Viltrumite child to a young hero willing to risk everything for his family. The scene cuts between the intensifying battle and Debbie's anguish as she watches both her sons putting themselves in danger, highlighting the emotional impact that superheroism takes on families. When Oliver arrives on the scene, he attempts to assist Mark, but Conquest's superior strength and experience quickly become apparent. The Viltrum warrior brutally beats Oliver, leaving him severely injured and requiring immediate medical attention. Mark's rage intensifies seeing his younger brother hurt, but Conquest merely toys with them. Meanwhile, Eve wakes up in the hospital and immediately senses that Mark is in serious trouble. And despite her weakened state, she decides she needs to help. Cecil arrives at her room and tries to convince her not to get involved, explaining that Conquest is one of the most potent Viltrumites and her intervention would likely be suicidal. In a horrifying parallel to the train incident from Season 1, Conquest drags Mark through a populated area, plowing him through buildings, streets, and eventually a crowded beach. The carnage is devastating, with civilian casualties mounting in Conquest's wake. This sequence serves as a brutal callback to the series' first season, still with a crucial difference. While Omni-Man's violence was calculated to teach Mark a lesson about human insignificance, Conquest's destruction is purely sadistic. Just as Mark appears to be on the verge of defeat, Eve arrives. Using her matter manipulation powers in new and inventive ways, she manages to hold her own against Conquest briefly. Surprised by her interference, Conquest comes back at her with full force, causing Eve to sustain fatal injuries. Mark, witnessing what appears to be Eve's death, fights back with renewed fury and desperation. Suddenly, though, Eve has recovered and is naked, radiating power unlike ever before. She unleashes a massive energy blast that strips away Conquest's skin, significantly weakening him and giving Mark the opening he needs. With Conquest momentarily vulnerable, Mark summons his remaining strength and delivers a series of brutal attacks, ending with a devastating headbutt that finally knocks Conquest out for good. 3 days later, Mark awakens in the hospital, still recovering from his extensive injuries. Eve visits him, now fully recovered. The revelation that mental blocks have been placed on her powers since childhood recalls what we learned from the Adam Eve special and recontextualizes her struggles throughout the series. This twist explores themes of imposed limitations versus self-discovery that have been central to the show's exploration of heroism. The fact that these limitations prevented her from manipulating sentient matter raises thought-provoking questions about the ethics of power, whether some abilities should be restricted even from those with good intentions. The scene shifts to Cecil, who is shown working with Sinclair to rebuild his robot army. This time, they're incorporating technology from the various dimensional Invincibles that died in the previous battles. Mark confronts Cecil, demanding that Conquest's body be destroyed completely to prevent any possibility of his return. We then move to a memorial service honoring Rex's sacrifice in the previous episode. The surviving Guardians of the Globe attend, along with other heroes and allies. We also see Battle Beast rescued from deep space, severely injured but alive. Meanwhile, Angstrom Levy is shown being rebuilt by the technicians, who inform him that he'll need to work for them to repay his debt for the reconstruction. The episode returns to Cecil, who is revealed to have secretly preserved Conquest's body against Mark's wishes. Cecil justifies this decision to Donald by explaining that they need to extract as much information as possible about the Viltrum Empire to prepare for future threats. Mark and Eve share a quiet moment reflecting on their recent battles and the changes they've both undergone. The episode concludes with a post-credits scene featuring Darkblood, a mysterious demon detective we met in Season 1, performing an arcane ritual. He speaks of summoning a Dark One with immense power, potentially foreshadowing a new supernatural threat for Mark and his allies in the coming season. Alright, and that does it. Thank you so much for watching this installment of Prime Video Finale Breakdown. You can now watch Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Invincible only on Prime Video. Again, I'm your host, Stephanie Williams. Thank you so much for watching.